What's up, Internet? I'm here with my new 200-pound capacity, easy fold aluminum e-bike. 2 e-bike carrier with ramp by Young Electric. The fun has just begun. Got it here in the apartment garage. Here's the 2 e-bikes I'm going to put on this bad boy. And I guess it's time to see how much of this I can get assembled using this bike carrier to carry bikes so that I am multimodal in my transportation and exploration of the countryside, because there are times when it's better to explore by bike than it is by car or by foot. This is like the racket that the bike tire straps into. So there's the picture of what this is ultimately supposed to look like. And there's all the steps. Monkey wrenches, Allen wrenches is what I'm going to be needed. I got those. All right. So I got my 12-piece socket set, Allen wrench set, some monkey wrenches. Got this piece bolt through the swinging piece. I think this is the piece that allows it to tilt and then install the base. The next step is going to be to bolt these little shoes, lack of a better term, that hold the wheels to the overall bike beam support. Bolt number 9, just I think this. And I'll go through my trusty sizing chart, figure out which of these sockets. 18. Fits in 3/4, but it's a little loose. I think it's 18. You see here it says 8.8, whatever that means, but yeah, this is a 18 mil. All right. Oh, we got this? Is this really gonna be this easy? No, it's not like that. Looking at the orientation, seems to be it's like this. To attach these bike racks, bike carriers to the main beam there. So this screw is already seated in the rail right here at the bottom of the bike carrier. We'll see if I can get this mounted on have this upside down. So here's what it roughly looks like. This is where the underside looks like, where we're trying to attach. See if you can see that screw coming through. So that's one, and there's one on the other side too. Maybe I should be doing this upside down. Why didn't I ever think of that? This was the actual proper way to assemble this thing. Turn it upside down, get your screws or your bolts in here through this channel, and then get the screws, the bolts on either side of the actual frame. Throw your washer on. Ratchet it in tight. Make sure these bikes don't fly off. We're going down the freeway at 65 miles an hour. Booyah. Got it. So it looks like next step is to assemble the arm that holds the bike in place. So you got this really complexicated looking assembly here. I think these are just bolted on by hand. Should be pretty easy. So you just hand tighten this to get it clamped onto the rail at whatever height you need, and then this piece here clamps onto the bike. So just found out all embarrassingly, embarrassed myself in front of my wife installing this thing upside down. So this is in the wrong position. To do it again. Nope. Turns out I do need to disassemble something else. Now we install this the proper way. Like this. This is why I do things on camera. This is why I embarrass myself on camera, so that anyone who's watching, besides me in the future, can do this the right way, the first time, rather than get taught a lesson. It's been about a week, a little more than a week, since we've installed the Young Electric bike rack. This bike rack thus far has been pretty neat. Folds up like this. You got a little handle here, so you can see this way it comes down, and this is the way the bike is supposed to be used. And you pull it down, and this is where you tilts down such that grabbing what's presumably a bike, this is probably gonna be the tallest part, you still have enough clearance to open your lift gate and enough clearance to also open the tailgate. Works pretty well too. So that's been pretty neat, but as you already saw earlier in the video, I did have a problem the first time I installed this. I installed it upside down. I mounted this piece here upside down, and I'm now realizing that's not the only thing I've mounted upside down or wrong orientation, but the way that this arm is supposed to grab the middle of the bike using this. You got this little strap here, right? Strap goes around the bike, and you can turn this to grab whichever part of the middle of the bike in whatever orientation, and you can also adjust this up and down. Now, what I realized is this can clash with this, and it's because I have installed these the wrong way. These are supposed to be reversed. So instead of this arm coming across what would be the front of the bike, because the front of the bike goes here, front tire goes here, back tire goes there, this is supposed to be going across the back of the bike, which will be happening if this were reversed. So we've properly reversed the polarity on these bike mounts, bike holders for the rack. Now we're going to get the ramp out. Get our trusty e-bike ramp out. Try to get the e-bike on there. See if this makes things a little bit easier. Still have a weird situation with where this should go. Because right now it's in the rail. So loosen a little bit, slide in. I don't know. Maybe that's the ideal place for that to be. Let's get the bike, let's see if we can get it on here. So my e-bike is the electric XP4 step-through folding bike. See it here in frame. Got the step-through rail and it folds. I didn't think I was going to be getting a dedicated bike rack like this. And if I did, or if I had, I think I might have opted for a regular e-bike, like a non-folding e-bike, but this is what I've got right now, and we're gonna see if we can make this work. Let's see what loading the e-bike on by myself is like. Obviously, if you got two people, super easy, but part of what the company who manufactures these sold you on is that this is supposed to be super easy for one person to use. Little bit of a challenge comes from this little resting frame here. So this is where the bike is supposed to rest when you've got it folded. This is something that a non-folding e-bike certainly wouldn't have, but when you're going up the ramp, it can sometimes hit the bottom of your ramp here, like so. So, oh crap. I screwed up. Something I forgot to do. For reference, this e-bike is about 67 pounds. So anyone who's watching, keep that in mind. If you have another, like a comparable e-bike that's not folding, like a regular non-folding e-bike, most of those that are comparable to this will probably be about 15 pounds lighter. So you'd be in like the 42 pound kind of range. But let's go up the ramp. Okay. Okay. So that was easy other than pedal clashing with this little gripper bar. But now that I'm here, I should be able to, according to other reviewers on the internet, move this around pretty intuitively and then grip onto something. So in this case, I'll go for this little grab handle on my frame, like so. Then loop this through. Got that turned around. So there's a ribbed textured side to this strap. You always want to make sure that that's going with the ribbed texture pointing up. Got that. Through. Okay. There we go. And then tighten it. So the nice thing about this is that once you got that middle in, you're like stable enough and you can go through here, get your other straps that are meant to secure the wheels on. More timely fashion. All right, that wasn't too bad. Suppose it'll take some more reps, but compared to the difficulty in mounting while I had these reversed, it's a lot easier because you're not going against the grain of this. Interesting. So that's what this looks like. Let's take a look at accessing the R1S rear with the bike on. So here's the tilting position. Let's see how this opens. Perfect. Clear. Tailgate down. Also clear. Maybe got 3 inches or so, 2.5 inches between the top of the tailgate and this bar, and even longer amount of distance between the arc of the liftgate and the edge of the handlebar here. So this works really well. Now, I think a good test for how usable this space is, I took my license plate off. Let me see if I have enough room standing back here. Clearly I do. Liftgate down. Wow. I think it's feasible with this amount of access. You can see where I'm standing. But if you had, say, a camp kitchen, which I don't do a tailgate kitchen personally. I do all of my cooking out of the frunk. But if you did have a tailgate kitchen, you'd still be able to access it pretty easily here. You can see how I'm standing. I'll reposition the camera. So here I am, liftgate down. I can stand back here and I still have access. I could set up a cutting board, I could chop, do whatever else I need to do. Pull this up to look at my bodega cooler. Can do a lot of stuff actually. It's pretty handy. So I have to say I do like this mount quite a bit. So now all I really have to do to ensure that this is a fantastic product is go on a 15,000 mile road trip across the country at different speeds, different temperatures, all kinds of different weather conditions, and report back that I don't have any problems with it. Sounds simple enough, right guys?